Hello, thank you for joining me for the second video in our celebratory SIPS month. This is the card that we're going to make. This is a fun card, makes clever use of the DSP. One of those ones again that looks difficult but is easy to make. All the measurements are in the tutorial, so I'm not going to go through that, only where we need to. Okay, so ready to start our card. Let me just show you first of all this piece underneath. I have embossed that, and what I've done is, I think that for the most part this embossing folder is supposed to be used that way, so it looks like the top of a crystal glass. But what I've done is I've taken it and I've embossed it long ways. Now I'm not too concerned about that bottom bit there. I want that middle bit roughly in the middle so that we can see it poking through. The sides are going to be covered by the DSP, so don't get too hung up about that. But we've just got that in the middle, and you need to decide which side you want up. I think that this one is pretty good where you can use either of them. Alright, then I've got my two pieces of DSP, and what I'm going to do is mark both of them at the halfway point. So that's going to be 7.7 centimeters or 2 5/8 inches, and I'm just maybe a little bit OTT with this. You can just eyeball it, but I'm not going to get it right, and I want it right. So alright, now just pay attention that you're marking, and oh, that's interesting, they're nowhere near. They should have been the same. Unless I cut these to the wrong size. Do you think I would have done that? Nope. Okay, that's very interesting because they're 14.4 centimeters. So it should be 7.7 on both sides. Okay, never mind. So mark the one, and then you don't even really need to mark the other one because they're going to, I'll show you, you're just going to be able to pick it up from the other one. Okay, now what we're going to do is only putting DSP against the far side. Try that again. Only putting glue against that far side. We're going to stick our first piece of DSP along the left of that bubble bath piece, and again make sure that you put glue on that right side because we just want it along the edge that's going to stick to the far side of the bubble bath, and we're sticking it there. Okay, so just along those two edges. Give it time to stick because we definitely want that adhering over there. And then what I'm going to do, and you can just fold it, or if you find it easier with a ruler, we're going to fold from that mark. No, hang on, before we do that, I'm going to stick this onto my card base, and I'll tell you the reason why I want it stuck on before I do my DSP is just so that I can make sure how far my points are peeping over. Okay, we don't want those points protruding too far over the edges of the card base because otherwise it's not going to fit into an envelope. So if we've got this stuck on here, then I can see exactly where I'm folding. Okay, so from my center mark over there, I'm folding that back, and I want the angle to be such that those edges are aligning over there. Okay, and then give that a nice press, and then again from that mark we're folding the other side back so that we're coming to the edge of the card base. Now, this looks a little bit messy in the middle. Don't stress about that, okay? That's absolutely fine. And then here where I said you didn't really need to mark it because you can just follow it from where your first one was, we're doing the same. And pretty much as easy as that, that's the card all folded. And then I'm going to just take a dimensional and put it behind each of these to hold them down. And it just gives that little bit of lift in the corners. Okay, now if you want to, you can put just a dot of glue behind each of those edges, but it doesn't really matter because you are going to have your sort of focal point piece stuck over that, so you're not going to notice. And now we can decorate. So let me find my little glass first of all. So I've just fussy cut that out of the DSP, and you can use whichever one you want. You don't necessarily need to stick to that color. And all that I've done is I've taken this sentiment, the to you, and I'm going to stamp it on the bottom of my glass over here. And while I'm stamping, I just need a scrap of grid paper so that I can stamp on it. I want to stamp my insert. Try to find the least messy bit of grid paper. So what I've done on the insert is I've just stamped, I'm not quite sure what that is, it's this little spriggy flowery thing. And just all the way along the bottom at different heights, and I've just stamped full strength and then stamped off and full strength, stamped off. Oops, that one was a little bit close, but it doesn't matter. And we're just going until my whole bottom of my insert is covered. And I've taken a narrow strip, it's a 1 centimeter or ½ an inch strip of bubble bath, and I've just embossed it with that embossing folder, so we've got that same cut glass lines. And I'm going to stick that along the bottom over here. So covering that up, and we've got our little flowers poking up from there, and then that looks like it's slightly long, so let's just trim that little edge off. Right. Stick the insert inside the card. And then I've got my 2 stylish shaped squares. I think that it's the second and the third largest. I didn't use the biggest one because that wouldn't fit on here nicely at an angle. So we're just going to stick that on there. I'm going to stick this on first, and then I'm going to stick my glass on top of it. I thought I'd put a dimensional behind there, but I hadn't, so that's okay. And I could if I wanted to, but it looks like it's alright, even though it's not supported. just going to stick that sort of in the middle, trying to judge in the middle, and a little glass. I'm not putting any glue behind the sprig here because I know that that's hanging over. And bling it up with a couple of our holographic dots. I think I used the middle size one here. So just one on either end. And there's our card. Okay, so it has the wow factor, but as you can see, really easy to use. Hope that you'll make this and share your cards with me. I have another one for us for next time, which is going to be the fun fold. It's a pop-up, well, a slidey pop-up card. And I will see you again next week to make that one. Until then, have a good week. Bye for now.